As Philosophical Dwellings by Fulcanelli. Imagine a place where mystery and the unknown come together, where the quest to understand not only the facts but the essence behind them allows us to catch a glimpse of the divine, hidden within the shadow of matter. This is the world of alchemy, a path of knowledge that explores the mysterious causes and dynamics that govern the transformations of nature. In this first dive into As Philosophical Dwellings by Fulcanelli, we will enter the legendary alchemist's laboratory and uncover the connection between chemistry and philosophy. The image of an alchemist often reveals itself as a pensive elder, surrounded by an environment that harkens back to a distant past, filled with archaic instruments and notes that defy reason. In his laboratory, which resembles both a cave and an ancient crypt, silence is filled with the tireless work of nature, guided by the attention of man and divine intervention. It is a chaotic space where containers holding liquids of singular colors coexist with heavy metallurgy tools and manuscripts filled with hidden knowledge. However, alchemy is not just a fantasy created by popular imagination. Unlike chemistry, which deals with material facts and relies on experimentation, alchemy seeks to understand the secret forces that lead to the creation of substances. This spiritualized approach to alchemy allows for an approach to the divine, providing a vision that transcends the simple identification and classification of elements. Fulcanelli warns us about the importance of not only knowing the natural bodies and their interactions, but also seeking knowledge of the secret behind their elaborations. He challenges modern science, which often fails to explain observed phenomena, such as the formation of unstable compounds or the unexpected reactivity of certain elements. The limitations of conventional chemistry reflect a lack of deeper understanding of reality. Thus, As Philosophical Dwellings invites us to see beyond appearances towards a study that takes into account both the principle and the essence of natural phenomena. In Fulcanelli's words, he points us towards a science that is alive and based on the true investigation of the unknown animator, the agent of the wonders of the universe, who in this world of precision and empiricism still eludes us with its mysterious presence. Can fire be more than the heat we know, something spiritual that dwells within the essence of things? In the alchemical fascination, this idea is a guiding thread. In this excerpt from As Philosophical Dwellings by Fulcanelli, we are led to recognize a universal principle that animates substances, regardless of the kingdom to which they belong. Fulcanelli criticizes modern science for its limited view of fire as merely a catalyst, highlighting experiments such as the synthetic creation of hydrochloric acid, demonstrating that light, a rare and spiritualized fire, possesses the same chemical virtues as elemental and raw fire. Modern science fails, according to the author, by not considering the igneous agent, a spiritual principle and the basis of energy that influences all material transformations. By challenging established concepts, we see cases where latent fire is released under particular circumstances, such as the sparking of a fragment of steel or the spontaneous reaction of potassium with water. A view is proposed where fire is not perceived directly in matter, but exists there in a latent form. And even more intriguing is the assertion of ancient alchemists that the sun is a cold star and its rays are dark, an idea contrary to intuition, but one that gains support when considering phenomena such as the decrease in temperature with an increase in altitude. Fulcanelli advances with the Hermetic theory that heat and light come from the clash of cold and dark vibrations against the gaseous molecules of our atmosphere. The resistance, proportional to the density of the environment, results in more heat and light on the surface of the Earth than at high altitudes. Here, Hermetism presents itself as a science that seeks efficient causes, influences, and effects of these principles under different conditions, expanding the field of human consciousness and unifying God with nature, creation with the Creator, science with religion. The author laments the lack of receptiveness of some scientists to new ideas and extols the open-mindedness of those like Spinoza, Pascal, and others who recognize the value of alchemy and the possibility of unexpected discoveries. Berthelot, one of the masters of chemical knowledge, spent decades studying ancient texts and concluded that Hermetic principles are as sustainable as the best modern theories. Thus, Fulcanelli challenges us to expand our view of fire, light, and science itself, to consider that there is more between heaven and earth than our scientific philosophy dreams of. He does not disrespect the work of scientists, but appeals for a broader perspective that encompasses the hidden and spiritual dimension of material transformations, arguing that even sincere mistakes lead to true knowledge. In the path of alchemy, the search is for ultimate truth, which unites the visible with the invisible, matter with spirit. At the heart of alchemy, there resides a timeless notion. The unity of substance is the foundational premise of Hermetic philosophy. Imagine, my knowledge-seeking friends, that since ancient times, this belief has remained unshakable, crossing eras to reach us as an echo of past truths. But what can be said about transmutation, the ability to turn metals into gold, this audacious idea that always accompanied the promise of unity? The skepticism of modern science sometimes silences the dialogue with the legacy of ancient masters. In my journey through the labyrinths of knowledge, I contrast contemporary skepticism with the testimonies of those who cultivated these mysteries. Prominent figures like Marie Curie and Henri Poincaré pondered the possibility of metallic transmutations, some referring to the observation of atomic transformations in radioactive bodies, others leaving the door open for future discoveries. Despite academic caution, the substance of this reflection is clear. Even the mantle of doubt cannot hide the brilliance of alchemical possibilities. Our endeavor, then, is to reveal the hidden life in metals, pulsating beneath the surface of our understanding. Experiments show that steel can strengthen under stress, naval battle plates yield to the weakening of their vital energy, and even the tracks of North American railways show signs of premature aging. Alchemy teaches us that, like living beings, metals are also subject to birth, life, and transformation, and carry within them the seed that allows them to multiply and renew their species. So, my diligent seekers of the light of wisdom, what is life if not movement, change, and eternal becoming? Ancient alchemy already knew this truth and operated within this magnificent reality. The alchemists were, in truth, pioneers of a worldview that, at its essence, is not so far removed from the science we now revere. Let us not make the mistake of summarily judging our ancestral philosophers for their incursions into the nebulous realm of metals. For whether through complex mathematical formulas or the simplicity of an alchemical crucible, the ultimate goal of science, like alchemy, is to touch the essence of the mysterious dynamism that animates all substance. And at this point, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. If the same force that impels a flower to open itself to the sun can be found in the expansion of iron under heat, who are we to disdain the silent poems of metals, or to ignore the possibility of their hidden transformations? Contemplate, then, these hermetic truths and decide for yourselves. Is transmutation a fool's fable, or an invitation to unravel one of the deepest enigmas of existence? In our marathon through As Philosophical Dwellings by Fulcanelli, we continue to question and fuel the perpetually vibrant and elusive flame of knowledge. Imagine for a moment the complexity of a world where truth is hidden beneath layers of enigmas and symbols. We now step onto the slippery terrain of alchemy, an art where each word can be a labyrinth, and each figure a star map of ancient wisdom. In this intricate chapter, Hermetic Kabbalah, we emerge at the heart of alchemy, explicitly masked to protect its contents from uninitiated eyes and preserve its power from unworthy hands. Alchemical philosophers, masters of shrouding truths in obscurity, established a communication that transcended the abyss of time but prevented the profane from unraveling their secrets. Hermetic works are embroidered with ambiguous terms and filled with apparent paradoxes, sometimes presenting divergent processes, sometimes converging in essence but disharmonious in practice, a dance of masks and metaphors with the purpose of hiding and revealing only to the deserving. Alchemy, steadfast in its role as guardian of nature's deepest secrets, saw its teachings of practices and achievements, such as the transmutation of metals observed by Pascal, philosopher by fire, become not only elaborated in treatises, but also embedded in the cultural pulse of the era. In this golden period, Oriental mysticism bathed common thought, bringing a love for riddles and symbolic language that profoundly touched all social structures. from cultured conversations to the common folk and craftsmanship, from commerce to noble armor, giving rise to expressions and representations rich in double meanings and allegories only the learned would decipher. The Hermetic approaches, camouflaged in anagrams and emblematic images, immersed even in the nomenclature of bars and the arts of heraldry, offered lessons in history and spirituality to those who understood their secret language. Despite contemporary undervaluation, the Hermetic symbolic legacy remains as mnemonic keys for the few guardians of this ancient knowledge. Tangibly, the shadow of alchemy mirrors itself in the facades of buildings and enduring traditions, where once profound meaning could only be accessed through a coded language, with living examples in rebus, deciphered by the trained eye through phonetic and visual tricks that once adorned medieval establishment signs. In this way, Fulcanelli's work in As Philosophical Dwellings is not just a mere treatise. It is a sublime invitation to rediscover an understanding that resists being forgotten and challenges our perception, revealing that true knowledge will always find its staunch guardians, navigating the waves of time with steady hands on the helm of the sacred language of the wise. So, are you ready to dive deeper into this sea of symbols and discoveries? Ladies and gentlemen of the alchemy of words, today we dive into the ingenuity of occult enthusiasts. In As Philosophers, the philosophical abodes, Fulcanelli reveals that wordplay, anagrams, and pseudonyms are not mere literary adornments, but secret keys to Hermetic science. Historical figures such as Clotaire, Chilperic, Dagobert, and St. Louis, as well as the famous Napoleon, are introduced with seemingly simple descriptions. But when we take a closer look, we see that each carries an enigma. For example, St. Louis reveals his fascination with gold coins, a metaphor for the polish and refinement necessary in alchemy. Small details in the stories of these figures point to alchemical processes, elements, or goals sought by practitioners of the art. Books with strange titles like Amalek ou la Grain d'Hommes, Amalek or the Seed of Men, hide true alchemical treatises within their pages. And only those who are able to decipher the anagrams and understand the references to the milk of the Virgin or the cream of Om can access the hidden knowledge within. Alchemy, understood in its essence, speaks about the transformation and extraction of the material spirit, using processes that resemble the separation of cream from milk, something that has been discussed by wise men like Basil Valentine and others. In addition to hiding secrets in wordplay, many authors adopted Kabbalistic pseudonyms. These pseudonyms, full of symbolism and direct references to Hermetic science, spoke more about their works and knowledge than any autobiography could. From Basil Valentine to Musa and his mentor Khalid, each name was chosen with precision to represent the essence of the alchemist's work. And so, Fulcanelli guides us to the language of birds, or the language of gods, a camouflaged wisdom hidden from the common people, but revealing to those with eyes to see. By identifying that French can trace its origins back to archaic Greek, a portal opens to the expanded understanding of Hermetic texts. He argues that our contemporary French is a direct descendant of Greek, words dressed in a modern mantle, but carrying ancient essences, each with its corresponding Greek phonetic or orthographic counterpart. This revelation about linguistics is not a mere curiosity, but a method proposed by Fulcanelli to uncover the intimate thoughts of past masters and enter the Hermetic sanctuary. He highlights authorities in philology who support the thesis that French evolved directly from Greek, challenging the popular notion that it is primarily derived from Latin. As we progress through this excerpt of As Philosophers, it is essential to keep an open mind and recognize that often what seems like a simple wordplay can be a bridge to hidden knowledge. Knowledge that requires not only a keen insight, but also the ability to listen to the language of birds, that language that sings the truths of alchemy through the centuries. Let us continue unraveling these veiled mysteries, remembering that in Fulcanelli we find a guide to the hidden splendor of Hermetic texts and the secrets they hold. In the face of ancient wisdom, we encounter riddles that only the light of Kabbalistic interpretation can unveil. Imagine something so powerful that it allows communication not only between all human cultures, but also between us and nature. In the sixth step of this journey through As Moratus Philosophize by Fulcanelli, we are introduced to the mystery of the language of birds, a sacred and universal language. The narrative transports us to the moment when Cyrano de Bergerac, an initiate, is instructed in the secret of this language by a simple man, naked but full of truth, seated on a stone, symbolizing the naked truth upon the philosopher's stone. This language, far from all artificial complexity and close to pure truth, is intuitively understood even by those who have never heard it before. However, despite its universality and ability to perfectly express every mental conception, the origin of this fascinating language goes back to the Greek genius. The Hermetic Kabbalah known in Egypt and the general language of the Incas of Peru are reflections of this first and perfect form of communication accessible to all living beings. Studying such a language is like unraveling the very code of existence. Roger Bacon, a privileged mind of the 13th century, exemplifies mastery in acquiring ancient languages, aiming to reach the general theory of language that is compared to true logic and philosophy. His ability was so advanced that he could teach complex languages in a surprisingly short period of time. This part of the book challenges us to recognize that beyond apparent science and knowledge, there is a deeper language and wisdom, directly connected to the essence of the natural world. With this passage, Fulcanelli piques our curiosity and instigates us to seek this understanding beyond words. Let us continue deciphering these mysteries and learning about the power of true communication in the upcoming stages of As Moratus Philosophize. Stay tuned, for the truth hidden beneath millennia of veils may be closer than we ever imagined. Imagine a bridge suspended between two worlds. On one side, modern, pragmatic, and methodological chemistry. On the other, alchemy, surrounded by mysteries and enigmatic symbols. In this chapter, we navigate the haze of history to uncover the origins of chemistry and how it unfolds from ancient practices. I present to you the crucial distinction between spagyrics and alchemy, two distinct branches that stem from the same trunk but bloom in different ways. During the Middle Ages, and perhaps even in ancient Greece, physicians, artisans, and workers in various trades perfected the knowledge of spagyrics, which is essentially practical chemistry applied in areas such as metallurgy, dyeing, and ceramics. However, there were those who followed a more occult and specific path, the alchemists. Although they aimed for similar goals as alchemists, such as the transmutation of metals and the search for gold, they worked solely with chemical techniques and materials, without delving into the animal and plant essences valued by alchemy. It is important to recognize that it was precisely the wandering steps of these alchemists that paved the way to contemporary chemistry. Tirelessly seeking knowledge, they brought to the world keen observations, laboratory techniques, and chemical reactions that materialized into remarkable discoveries in what we understand today as chemistry. However, true alchemy, with its encrypted manuscripts and sealed secrets, remains separate from scientific contributions. Its understanding requires a hidden esoteric key, far from the reach of conventional studies, demanding divine revelation or a true and faithful master in the teaching of this art. The alchemists of the past openly criticized the literal reading of their symbolic writings, emphasizing the vitality of understanding the hidden meaning behind their words. The terminology they employ, such as Aries and its other names, should not be superficially understood, and those who do so are deeply mistaken. Finally, the author defends the idea that certain alchemical processes are mystified and seem illusory only because they are incomplete and immersed in mysteries. He intends to unveil some of these procedures, limited to the realm of spagyrics, and show that, contrary to popular belief, modern chemistry owes its debt not to Hermetic philosophy, but to the arduous researchers of antiquity. With this contextualization, we delve deeper into the path of true alchemy and its separation from the chemistry we know, recognizing the debt that the latter has to those who mixed and fused metals in search of something greater, even if they walked on the edge of misunderstanding in their understanding and practices. In the chapter of As Moratus Philosophize, where we delve into practical alchemy and the secret processes of metal transformation, we are taken on a deep dive into the techniques of manipulating silver to seek traces of gold. Here, Fulcanelli is emphatic in revealing that even if we can isolate a metal that resembles gold in various properties and chemical reactions, there is still a crucial distinction in density. The obtained metal is not as dense as the gold found in nature. Therefore, we are not facing true gold, but a kind of nascent gold that through a maturation process using mercury as the main agent can achieve the density of adult gold. This transformative adventure also presents the hermetic concept that only spirits, active and penetrating natural entities, can truly transform matter, causing alterations that we see in the physical world. In this context, Fulcanelli expands the definition of spirits beyond intangible influences. In the alchemical world, volatile bodies like mercury and arsenic are included, as well as plant essences that have the gift of releasing metallic sulfur and mercury through delicate and precise processes such as sublimation. The author guides us through a technique that delves into sublimation to extract sulfur from silver, using nitric acid and ammonium chloride in a careful distillation process. He presents us with an alchemy that is both a science and an art, requiring skill and understanding of the reactions that occur during the manipulation of elements. In addition to silver, we also discuss the application of similar techniques to lead. Despite being cheaper and easier to work with, lead provides us with a less pure result that requires further purification. The narrative continues, discussing how different metals respond to different chemical agents, emphasizing the importance of affinity between bodies and between these bodies and spirits for metal decomposition. Fulcanelli uses the example of the relationship between silver and lead to demonstrate that metals with similar affinities react similarly to the same substances. To conclude, the passage explores the mystery surrounding iron and gold, highlighting how common and abundant iron is, and yet it can contain or be associated with gold. It leads us to understand how the alchemist focused on iron in hopes of understanding its tinctures and extracting its components. However, Fulcanelli makes it clear that true alchemy is not only about the separation of components, but also about the challenging union of these components to create something new, a process that seeks not only to divide matter, but also to understand and reconfigure it. Let the tremendous adventure of discovering the secrets of alchemy and its profound connection with the world of chemistry commence. Welcome back, my fellow knowledge seekers. Today we are embarking on a journey into the heart of alchemy with the enigmatic book As Moradas Philosophis by Fulcanelli. In this segment, we will delve into the intricate processes of manipulating iron and gold, two metals with distinct meanings in both the esoteric and scientific worlds. Get ready for a mind-bending exploration of transformation and discovery. Our guide, Fulcanelli, reminds us that our pursuit of knowledge is not only an art of patience and precision, but also a journey where the most subtle of processes can lead to the most magnificent transformations. And in this mystical world where chemistry meets philosophy and manual work meets the spirit of exploration into the unknown, Fulcanelli shares with us the key to unlock the door. Let's start with iron, my friends. We begin by crushing the pyrites or reducing the metal to filings and handling it with extreme caution. The pyrites are then heated until they turn red and then soaked in boiling royal water, a process that is repeated until they appear pure white. The goal is to extract the essence of sulphur, represented by droplets of oily red like blood. Through careful distillation and chemical manipulation, we isolate an authentic mercury salt of fascinating white color, which easily converts into liquid mercury. But when it comes to gold, alchemy reveals a surprising axiom. It is easier to create than to destroy gold. So, gold is dissolved in royal water and mixed with sulfuric acid. The result is intriguing. White vapors rise and transform into a yellow oil, which eventually crystallizes into beautiful blood-red crystals, symbolizing the aspirational heights of alchemical achievements. These complex processes are not only physical manifestations of Hermetic philosophy, but also a gateway to understanding the spiritual realm. However, Fulcanelli reminds us that the true challenge and secret lie not in producing these phenomena, but in understanding and applying correctly the seed, or golden essence. This understanding transcends mere material manipulation and delves into the spiritual realm. Our narrative takes a riveting turn as we learn about the virtuous Saint Vincent de Paul, who during his capture by pirates learned the arts of alchemy. Armed with this knowledge, he not only performed acts of great charity without miraculous interventions, but also left behind an invaluable material and spiritual legacy. Fulcanelli deepens our understanding by revealing that beyond the practical manipulation of metals, alchemy carries a deeper wisdom, an elevated order that surpasses the production of material treasures. These alchemical processes not only ignite flames within our alembics, but also spark a deeper comprehension within us. Now let's unravel the extraordinary life of Vincent de Paul, a man whose path led him to the secrets of alchemists and the practice of transformations that defy modern skepticism. His extraordinary journey begins with his captivity and sale to a fisherman, followed by an apprenticeship with a skilled sword doctor. Vincent, though he did not find the Philosopher's Stone, witnessed the transformation of silver into gold and mercury into noble silver. Within a laboratory heated by 10 or 12 furnaces, Vincent learned the mysteries of alchemy while tending to the flames that transformed the elements. The alchemical doctor saw potential in Vincent and offered him not only wealth, but also his profound knowledge. So, amidst fervent prayers for freedom, Vincent concentrated on learning techniques to cure diseases like calculus, hoping to reunite with his master. After the death of the alchemical doctor, who withered away on his way to Constantinople, Vincent fell into the hands of the doctor's nephew, who ultimately sold him again due to rumors of his recovery as a Christian slave. Ironically, the man who bought him ended up converting to Christianity, and together they escaped back to civilization. But Vincent gained more than just freedom. He was welcomed in Avignon by the vice-legate, whom he taught alchemical secrets, gaining his appreciation and attention. His knowledge even earned him favor in Rome, where he continued his studies under the same vice-legate's support. Vincent de Paul's narrative holds even greater weight when we consider that the transformations he witnessed are corroborated by the knowledge of his time regarding metals and their properties, knowledge that is still valid today. Now, let's explore the enigmatic process through which gold, combined with silver, is transformed into a new noble metal. A special powder, not the Philosopher's Stone, but sharing one of its properties, is used to operate this transmutation. The mixture is then heated for a cycle of 24 hours, resulting in the conversion of silver into genuine gold. The chapter continues to reveal the secret of exaltation, an alchemical technique to prepare gold before its transmutation with silver, a process that requires precise knowledge of the nature of materials and meticulous control of the thermal reaction involved. Vincent leaves us with a detailed insight into these complex physical manipulations and spiritual transmutations. His account takes us back to a time and mindset that, though distant from our own, perhaps shares a fundamental truth, the quest for understanding the material and spiritual world. Therefore, in his hands, alchemy becomes both an art and a science, mysterious, powerful, and above all, an eternal pursuit of knowledge. Dive with me into the depths of alchemy as we explore this exciting portion of Fulcanelli's As Moratus Philosophis. The author unveils the impenetrable barrier that separates traditional chemistry from authentic alchemy, drawing fascinating comparisons between alchemical operations and agriculture. Just like farmers, alchemists rely on specific conditions and influences for the success of their endeavors. Yet, modern chemists often distance themselves from traditional methods, unaware that they are still walking a familiar path. According to Fulcanelli, the true work of alchemy is not complicated in terms of materials and formulas, but rather challenging due to the precise knowledge required. He also references classical works and historical voices in alchemy, such as Jacques Tesson, who emphasizes the futility of common methods like digestion and distillation in the search for the secret of the sages. Fulcanelli clarifies that modern chemistry's roots lie in ancient spagyrics, rich with Greek, Arabic, and medieval contributions, rather than the simple and ancient alchemy. Taking us even further, Fulcanelli magically transports us to Lisieux, a Norman city harboring a hidden treasure relevant to any Hermetic student, the Mansion of the Salamander. This building, known to many in Lisieux, conceals profound alchemical secrets within its decorative elements. Through meticulous analysis, the author reveals that the original inhabitant and builder of this mansion was a true adept of the Philosopher's Stone, linked to an occult order related to the Templars. Tracing the history of this mansion leads Fulcanelli back to the practical alchemy of three companions in the 15th century, led by Nicolas de Grosparmy and Flers, where they pursued the great work. These alchemists wrote invaluable texts that were never published, but passed through various hands, suggesting a rich Hermetic lineage behind the alchemy of the region. This excerpt from Asmaratus Philosophis is a vibrant reminder that alchemy is a science of ancient mysteries, esoteric practices, and an unrelenting quest for the physical manifestation of wisdom. In the midst of alchemy's intricate history, information is often distorted, and it becomes crucial to rectify the timeline to honor those who truly paved the way for knowledge. In the true essence of the accomplishments of alchemists from the past, our tale now takes us to Flers in the 15th century, where three remarkable adepts in philosophical and literary work do not belong to the erroneous chronology of the 16th century, as wrongly propagated. We step into the castle of Flers, owned by Nicolas de Grosparmy, and are introduced to the lineage of the Grosparmy family, tracing their origins and debunking the date confusions created by an anonymous annotator in manuscript margins. With meticulous examination of the documentation, we highlight Raoul de Grosparmy, the lord of Bouville and Flers, the father of a lineage that would live and breathe the principles of Hermetic wisdom. Nicolas Valois, whose writings from 1445 are cornerstone alchemical knowledge, comes alive through his works and the ethical lessons shared with his son, the pious and noble knight. The oral instruction passed down by Pierre Vico molded the next generation, proving that an alchemist's legacy lies not only in their discoveries, but also in the wisdom they sow in the minds that follow. Let us now address the error that attributed to Nicolas Valois himself the ownership of lands in Escoville and other places towards the end of his life, when in reality he spent his final years in Flers, dedicating himself to writing and sharing his knowledge with friends and family. The story culminates with the completion of the great work, which does not manifest in acquired castles and lands, but as a legacy of contemplation and scientific education to their offspring. We delve deeper into this genealogical tree and witness the progress of the Valois family, descendants of Nicolas, who continued to expand their influence and wealth. We enter the story of Nicolas Valois, the alchemist's great-grandson, marking the construction of the manor of Escoville. In conclusion, within the historical traces of the Mansion of the Great Horse and the symbolic art that adorns its facade, we find echoes of alchemical work. Despite the destruction of many of these works in the fervor of revolution, hieroglyphs and sculptures remain, inviting interpretation and revealing the hermetic fascinations of the owner. It is not mere decoration, but a silent dialogue between adepts of past eras and present-day scholars striving to uncover the secrets of these past masters. Let us navigate the tides of history, correcting chronic errors and celebrating the true essence of alchemists and their philosophical dwellings. In our infinite pursuit of knowledge, we emerge into the story of a forgotten tradition, a lost link in the chain of alchemical knowledge. In the 15th century, in Flers, a group of Hermetic philosophers emerged, hidden within society, with a tangible hypothesis of having initiated disciples, transmitted science, and created a center of initiation. This knowledge has traversed through the centuries, from masters to apprentices, haunting the imagination with the idea of a mysterious adept secluded in the manoir of the salamander, who might have quenched their thirst from these hidden fountains. And there you have it, my fellow seekers of wisdom. We have journeyed through the depths of alchemy, unraveling the secrets, characters, and lessons hidden within the pages of Asmaratus Philosophis by Fulcanelli. Remember, alchemy is not just a science of metals and reactions. It is an ancient path of discovery, leading us towards knowledge, transformation, and the eternal search for truth. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep exploring the wonders of the world. Welcome back to my channel, where I dive deep into the world of books and bring you the most thrilling and insightful summaries out there. Today, we're venturing into the mysterious universe of alchemy, through the pages of the book As Moratus Philosophize by Fulcanelli. In this segment, we enter a world of ancient knowledge embodied in a 16th century wooden sculpture in the city of Lisieux. But this sculpture is no ordinary piece of art. It holds a secret, a riddle of alchemical transformation. Through the intricate symbols carved into it, we discover the union of the masculine and feminine principles, represented by a lion and lioness. We see a solar mask, reflecting the sun's vital importance in alchemical work, and a winged dragon, symbolizing the volatile matter essential for transformation. But this entrance is more than just a physical portal. It leads us to the great work, the quest for the Philosopher's Stone. We are introduced to the androgynous substance, the foundation of Hermetic practice, represented by the dragon. This chaotic being signifies the first mineral manifestation of the earth. It is revered and ignored, disguised under different names like arsenic and cinnabar. Only the alchemists hold it in high regard, seeing it as the beginning, middle, and end of the journey towards transmutation. And what about that high-relief figure of a man with a six-pointed star? It's not just an invitation to admire its beauty. It's a sign, a clue to one of the greatest secrets of alchemy, the rise of the substance during sublimation. This essence embodies the dual nature of water. The sacred text echoes throughout the alchemical language, immersing us in hidden theology, where the four elemental primordials, earth, water, air, and fire, are transfigured into alchemical symbols. In the chapter The Salamander of Lisieux the Seg, we are reminded that to truly seek the path of truth, we must always follow nature. To overlook the mineral and metallic realms in search of the Philosopher's Stone is a mistake. It is within these realms that the secret for the creation and perfection of Hermetic art lies. As we explore this rich iconography of the past, profound teachings come to light. In alchemy, nothing is as it seems. Each image carries meaning. Each name hides a clue. The veil that covers the mysteries of transformation challenges the bold to read beyond the surface, step through the sculpted doorway, and unveil the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone. Now let's delve deep into the mysterious world of alchemy, where a majestic roar echoes through the pages of As Moratus Philosophize by Fulcanelli. I'm here to decipher that roar, and it reveals none other than the Mercury of the philosophers, an extraordinary substance with a dual nature, fixed and material, volatile and spiritual. It is essential for initiating, completing, and multiplying alchemical work. This Mercury is like a matrix and the root of gold, not the precious metal we know, but something even more fascinating. It contains only the spirit or seed of metal, while its body distances itself from mineral qualities. It's a golden spirit, crystalline like salt, a key that transforms into all the colors of the spectrum during alchemical work. Fulcanelli takes us on a symbolic journey, from niter, also known as saltpeter, to the various designations of this Mercury, all different expressions of the same mystery. And within this mystery lies the secret fire of the sages. It's as challenging to discover as it is impressive in its utility. This fire is like a spiritual flame disguised as salt, a hidden sulphur, invisible to the eyes, but with the power to animate Mercury itself. The salamander, a mythical creature that continuously appears as an emblem throughout Fulcanelli's description, represents this secret fire. Its persistent presence suggests the long and arduous search for the secret of alchemical fire. But this fire is not merely a passive force. It is active, driving the alchemical transformation forward. The salamander is more than just a symbol. It embodies the materialization of salt, fire, and alchemy itself. This hidden fire, though invisible, can be released and captured like a dust that would be useless if not properly prepared. The entire work whispers to us about a sacred principle, a condensed solar fire capable of interacting with the three kingdoms of nature, bringing forth the highest alchemical transformations. This principle is exalted until it becomes capable of coloring and animating a purified body. It is the essence of Hermetic work. Fulcanelli doesn't only describe the chemical and spiritual processes of alchemy. He paints a portrait of personal seeking for knowledge and transformative power. And that wraps up the first part of As Moratus Philosophis, where we were introduced to the philosophical foundations and raw materials of the great alchemical work. Our journey continues through the symbol-laden layers and practicalities of this enigmatic and deeply encoded text. Stay tuned for more captivating chapters as we unlock the mysteries of the Philosopher's Stone together. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep exploring the realms of knowledge and embracing the wonders of the written word.